It's not about seat. She is going to be. You want to talk
We're
a lot?
live.
If you want to talk a lot, then you can switch seat. We do.
Yeah.
But you wanted to sit there before.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Abraham. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Yes, Merry Christmas. How are you? It's a special day today.
Okay.
Yes, Jesus' birthday, I think. I don't know. But the important thing is that, well, not the only important thing, we've also got the Adelaja family here, the Christmas special with the Adelaja. So, greetings to you all. Hi, Aisha. How are you? Good evening. I hope you haven't eaten too much today. But if you have, hey, who cares? Hello, Tosi. How are you? Thank you. Thank you for joining. Guys, please share this. On popular demand, but should I say by popular demand, we have the Adelaja family. And of course, we have Pastor Bosse here. We have Paris. We have Zoe. And we have our favorites. Well, they're all our favorites, Zoe. Don't feel jealous. We have our favorite Pearl as well. So, guys, we're ready. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to turn the camera now. Hello, Temitope. How are you? Thank you for joining. We're waiting to get on Facebook, so we'll join. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Tosin. Thank you all. I appreciate you all. Yay, Temitope. Yes. Yes. We have them here. Olubukola, hello. Good afternoon. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Yes. Meet Christmas, Mayowa. Okay. Thank you very much, Olubukola. Hi, Chris. Yes, they're wonderful family. They're all here. Rochelle White, Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining. Please share this, guys, as many people as possible. Okay? So this is once in a year. Apart from Christmas being once in a year, this doesn't often happen. So welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you all. Hi, Belle. Hi, Oluwasegun. How are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you. Please share, guys. Share, guys. On Facebook. Are we on Facebook yet? Hello, guys on Facebook. Welcome. Merry Christmas. How are you? I hope it's been a lovely day for you, and it's going to get even better. We've got the Adelaja family here with us. So that's Dr. Sunday Adelaja and his family. So we're all here enjoying Christmas together. So without further ado, I'm going to turn my camera now so that you will be able to see more. Not more of my face, but more of the Adelaja's faces. Here we go. Ta-da!
Thank you for the grand introduction, Maya.
Thank you.
Bro, can't wait. She can't wait to talk. You want to greet everyone with Christmas?
Oh yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for tuning in this Christmas, and hopefully you have had an enjoyable day so far, and hopefully this discussion and this following time that we're going to spend will make Christmas even more enjoyable for you. Christmas is Jesus' birthday, so of course it should be a special day for everyone, because Jesus is the perfect exemplification of that command to love your neighbor as yourself. So, on Christmas, everybody should be loving their neighbor and helping their neighbor, and hopefully we can help you with this program too.
I also want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas, and it is very important to remember, of course, why we celebrated it, Jesus' birth, because Jesus' birth is one of the most important and significant things to happen to us. He came down to save us. He gave us all perfection. He came down into suffering, and he came down as a baby, with one of the most least intimidating things we see as humans, and he lived the whole lifetime here on earth, just all for us. And even though we celebrate Easter, celebrate the actual sacrifice, we still have to remember where it all started from, and all the miracles that came with his birth, like Virgin Mary, and all the faith in God that it took for Joseph not to leave Mary and to trust God more than himself, more than his common sense. So it's very important to remember Christmas and celebrate God and be grateful for what has happened and why we're here today.
Yep. Well, I will pass on to Pastor Bosse and Perez because I always talk long, but I will round up the whole matter.
Hello, Merry Christmas to you all. It's a communion celebration. It's a celebration for all, both Christians and non-believers, because Christmas affects everything in this world, in this era. And just like Zoe said, as we go through this festive season, the New Year is fast approaching. It's very important to always be reminded of the purpose of Christmas, the reason of Christmas, and the miracle of Christmas, and the reminders of Christmas. A lot of births, including our own births, spiritual births, came out from the birth of Jesus Christ. Jesus is a mediator between us and God. He opened the way. He showed us the Father. He revealed the Father to us. And real life, full life, can only be found in Him. And that's the reason for this joy. That's the reason for this festivity. And thank God that Christmas goes beyond the physical, beyond the food, beyond all the decorations, the wonderful music. Thank God that after all that is gone, Christmas still remains, because Christmas is both visible and invisible. So I wish you a Merry, Merry Christmas, a fuller understanding of Christmas. And I pray that Christmas will be the center of all you do, and that you will have Christmas all the days of your life.
Amen to that. Christmas every day of our lives. That would be
Yeah, and the
amazing.
boy is back from school.
Yeah, I hope you guys were able to hear when I was with Dad earlier this
some
week.
did, some not.
So, if so, I'm glad to be back here with my family. I'm glad to be celebrating Christmas and the New Year. And I hope all of you over there are celebrating this day as well, celebrating with your family, with your loved ones, with your friends. I think Christmas is an important time near the end of the year to just celebrate with your family, to appreciate your loved ones, and just to have a time to really appreciate why we're here and we're able to find the ones we really want to spend our time with. So as the year comes to a close, as we celebrate this year, just hope we all appreciate that we're able to be with our loved ones.
Yep. Okay. We also have some very important people here. The future president of Nigeria, as we know him, Bamishaye Victor. You have an opportunity to, you know what Christmas is. You were all born here. They don't know what Christmas is really, like you people. You are born in Nigeria. You know the real Christmas, the Nigeria. We like to greet the future populace of yours.
To those who understand Yoruba, let me start with them.
Okay. So, Ecuador, would that be Christmas?
Ecuador generally is happy festive, happy Yuletide.
What, do you have anything specifically for Christmas too?
Christmas, what's Christmas in Europe?
Ecuador, Christmas. Yeah, Christmas. So they say Christmas, Odun Day. So Ecuador, Christmas. Ti Odutomba Bawalayo.
Amen. Amen.
So Merry Christmas to everyone. Much has been said about the purpose of Christmas, and the idea and the ideal is that we continue to live Christmas every day, and to continue to remember Christ and the sacrifice He paid for us, and to continue to connect with Him, because the whole reason for all of this is relationship, re-establishing the relationship, and that's what we live for. That's why we breathe. In Him we have our being. So let's continue to remember Christmas every day, and let's continue to live Christmas every day. What you do on Christmas, try to do it every day, celebrate, and also try to make someone smile every day. So thank you, and as we journey towards 2035 and beyond, I'm yours truly, Bamishaye Victor.
Before we come back to our new, I think Pastor Pastor Natasha, will you greet our English-speaking population, friends all over the world?
Yes, hello friends. Greetings from Ukraine and Merry Christmas. I want to wish to every one of you that New Year and this time will change our hearts, really. It's good when we just send to each one like Merry Christmas, and very good wishes, but I think also that the main point of Christmas is changing lives of people. So I just wish you today, tomorrow, and every day of our life, we will impact this world and make changes. So think about what changes you can do today, and let's look at other people and change their lives. Do some good things, even one hug, help. Just think about other people in this day as God think about us. Thank you.
Okay. I know. Well, can you help make it easier for her to by looking this way?
Hello everyone. Let's sing. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of our heart. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Yeah, we wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, we wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of our heart. You know, in Nigeria, if that song is not played, then there's no Christmas because we will sing that song.
This particular one?
Yeah, we have to sing it. Yeah.
When I was in Nigeria, it was not this one. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, they
we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But that's the one I knew when I was there.
So the one is the new
dimension.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I guess there's so much joy in the air. The euphoria of Christmas is all over the world. Atheists, Muslims, Christians, everyone recognizes that something spectacular actually is worth celebrating. And I'm talking about the spectacular being, and that's Jesus. For me, I think the greatest thing that I see with Christmas is the selfless and that selfless act that Jesus made in coming down to earth, not thinking about himself, but thinking about the whole world and wanting to restore the whole world back to the Father. And I haven't learned that it's something that everyone should live consciously, that we can't afford to live for ourselves, because the whole idea of celebrating Jesus was because he left the whole throne, he left the glamour, he left everything in heaven to come to live like man on earth, and to give us the life that we have and to enjoy the salvation that has brought joy, peace, and everything to us. So that is what celebrating, and that lesson is what taking for life, that to live for self is detrimental, and that's the least form of living actually. But to follow the example of Christ and to live a selfless life, thinking about the world and wanting to save the world, I think that's the greatest lesson that we all can imbibe from Jesus. And as we do that, we know that that is the reason actually why we're here, not to live for ourselves, but to live for the world and to be a blessing to someone around. So God bless you so much.
Okay, we have one of our Russian friends here too, Ukrainian.
Hello. Hello everyone. Merry Christmas, dear DSA family from Ukraine. Thanks for joining us here to meet a wonderful family, to have wonderful time with special family, Dr. Sanders, Adelaja family. And I wish you a Merry Christmas, and I wish you try to see Jesus in every one of this family, because I see Jesus in them, and I wish you to see Jesus in them too. And let's try what God wants to tell us while we're sitting here and hear what everyone will tell us. So, Merry Christmas.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Now we're going to ask Mayowa to greet you. You know Mayowa, she's a Facebook star now. You know, what do you call it? Vlogger. Okay, she's a vlogger now. That's your new Facebook vlogger. New talent. Come on.
Thank you guys. Thank you for. Right, guys, Merry Christmas. You know, I'm one of those people, I don't really like to think too much about the birth and the death of Jesus, because when I think about his birth, I would also think about his death as well, and I don't want to think about his death. But when I heard the ladies and talking, the young ladies talking, that's Pearl and Zoe, I thought, you know, this is what I've been trying to avoid all the time. I could say most of my life. I just want the very merry period. But I cannot have this very merry period without actually remembering Jesus and what he did and who he is to us. And without him, I wouldn't even be here. And you wouldn't be here as well. We wouldn't be enjoying all the things that we've enjoyed. And how he also gave us all these things. He gave us all these things. He died for us. So when I think about birth, I also think about death. And we have to. And think about purpose. He came here for a purpose. And we also have a purpose. We were created for a purpose. And we are also creator. So in this celebration, we must think about Jesus, not try to avoid the very, very deep hurt of the way that he died. Think about that. And also what he asked us to do, which is love, to love each other, love one another. So I'm really grateful for this moment. I'm grateful for this Christmas. I'm grateful for the family and friends. You as well. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for everything, you know. So I'm really looking forward to today, and I'm looking forward to the following year as well, 2018. So Merry Christmas to you, and thank you for joining us. Thank you.
All right. We have Olga here.
Yeah. Hello. Hello, everyone. All Christian world celebrate today birth of Jesus. And for me, like people who was born in Orthodox Christian, it was early, like usual event. Something happened. I don't know what it is. But because of this family, I know what's happened from my heart. I know Jesus like my own Lord. That's why I want to thank God and this family that I can see here wisdom. I can live consciously. I know what love means. Thank you, my pastors. Thank you for church. Thank you for your work in my life and in Ukraine. Thanks.
All right. I see another person you all know. That is
Hello, everyone. Merry Christmas to you all. I am very happy to be here and to celebrate Christmas here with everyone. I think one of the things I learned especially is that I want to remind myself to think about Jesus as someone who's also been a human being and who's not just, to not picture him as someone who was so perfect that he was not approachable for people, because in fact he was while he was here. So I was very shocked actually and very surprised to read something that a friend of mine wrote about Christmas as well. His name is Success, Dr. Success Fakulate. And he was talking about picturing Christ as someone who was 100% God and also 100% human. And I really want to cherish that, because I learned that trying to be perfect is not actually what we're supposed to be doing, but we're supposed to be who we are supposed to be and who we are made. And we are human beings, but we also have the security of Christ in us. Especially as Christians, for me, it's very special to know that me not being perfect is not something that is disqualifying me from the love of Christ. And I think this is how we're supposed to look at everybody else, that we're supposed to love them despite their imperfections. And I think this is what Christ came to show us, that he loves us the way we are and that he accepts us whoever we are. So whoever you are and whoever is around you or not around you, I think the lesson that we can also learn during Christmas is that love everyone, no matter who they are, how they are, where they come from, how they look, because we all deserve to be loved, because we all receive that love from Christ. So Merry Christmas to all of you, and don't forget to love one another.
Thank you.
please put the shares closer so that when we are ready, we should be able to capture that well. Okay. You know, you can't believe it. To me, today is It's the first time I'm actually seeing everybody, all my family. I've not seen my family for 2 weeks. And the reason for that is because I've been trying to be on solitude, even though the court was all disturbing every day. But I've been away, trying to just be in the mood of being alone with God and seeking the face of God for the next year and for the future in general and for everybody else. So what did I come up with? I had several revelations during this time. 2 weeks being by yourself and God is a good time for you to hear God. So, but one of the things that really was very profound, the other things were, more personal and more ministry and more, but what really was much more profound was the fact that the Lord Jesus came to challenge me in this in this solitude, and told me, because one of the things he told me is also about HMT, but it's solitude, and told me about Christmas, doing Christmas and having Christmas for the most vulnerable. That if you are celebrating my birthday, if you want to celebrate my birthday, the birthday of the Lord Jesus Christ, you are saying you are celebrating me. The best way to celebrate me is to gift I think it's okay. And the best way to celebrate me is to bring celebration to somebody's life, but to the lives of the most vulnerable people. Bring celebration, bring festivity, festive mood. That joy. When Jesus came, he said, the Bible, God, heaven announced to the earth, that joy to the world. So that joy that is meant for the whole world right now has eluded a large percentage of people. There is no joy to the world for a whole big amount of people. So what I feel, God came strongly to tell me about that. It just like it came to me when he told me to go to Africa. So, but this time, the same way, so powerfully, he said, he came to my room and showed me pictures and directed me to the videos to get, and said, do a challenge, release a video, and tell everybody, if they really want to celebrate me, if they really want to celebrate Christmas, let them go and make joy come to the world in the lives of those most vulnerable who don't ever see joy, not just on Christmas alone, but they don't ever get to see joy. So that's why I did this video. Let's have a look at the video. That's my own Christmas word. So I'll keep on playing it, and I want us to play it all year long, not just for Christmas. I think we need to put it. Can you put it on? We'll put on the light. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to you, brothers and sisters. Merry Christmas to you in every continent of the earth. Merry Christmas to you in Africa. Merry Christmas to you in Europe. Merry Christmas to you in America. Merry Christmas to you in Asia. Merry Christmas to you in the Oceanic. Merry Christmas to you all over the world. Wherever you are, Merry Christmas. Now, and of course, a Happy New Year. 2017 is behind us, and 2018 is just about to come in. We have just seen right now, you've just seen how Christmas and New Year is being celebrated across the globe, from America to Europe, from New York to Paris, just all over the world. Now, as we are in this festive mood, celebrating, rejoicing, and giving thanks to God, can you believe it? That some other people don't even have an idea of what joy is. Talk less of what celebration is. I'm going to tell you the story of how I came across this idea, the idea of doing this video. Please keep on watching. That's the way we celebrate. The whole world is celebrating, but have a look at how another group of people is celebrating their Christmas and New Year.
I didn't expect for the disease to be as advanced as it is. I didn't expect, like the pictures didn't really do it justice, you know, didn't show the severity of the disease. I was heartbroken.
I'm here today in Kunchene, a village in the upper western region in Ghana. They are afflicted with a skin disorder. It's very treatable. These children do not have to look like this. It's not contagious. You can't catch it by touching them and loving them. And we need help to get them some treatment that they deserve. Their suffering is very long. We need help from Ghana. We need help from the United States. We need help from the entire world.
This is Esther. At first, I thought she was a boy. And this is her older brother, Sam. Their behinds were shriveled and laced with deep lines left by their shrinking body mass. Their legs were tiny bones covered in dried out skin. It was clear to me that starvation had pushed these helpless kids to the verge of death. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Can you believe it? That some of them don't even have an idea of what joy is. Well, all of last week and this week, I've tried my best to remain in a state of solitude. So I've been away from my family and just being before the Lord and to seek the face of God for the following week and to seek God's face for the new year and for what He would like me to do for the year that is coming and for this week, the last few weeks before the end of this year. And surprisingly for me, that which you saw is what God came to speak to me about. God came to me and said, tell people, do a challenge, Christmas challenge. Challenge people all over the world to remember the forgotten. Challenge the world to remember the poor. On my birthday this year and the new year and all this, tell everybody, encourage people that you have influence on to go and do and give a Christmas gift to somebody somewhere that will never tell them thank you. Let them go and look for people in any part of the world, people who will never say a word of appreciation, and people who wouldn't otherwise have known anything about this beautiful Christmas season. So go ahead and encourage people to go out of their way, even if they only have $1 gift, even if it's only a slice of bread or a piece of bread that they are able to buy for some of these most vulnerable people in the world. Let them do it. Let them give a gift to somebody on behalf of Jesus. So this is a gift to somebody in the name of Jesus. Give to somebody on behalf of Jesus. Make this Christmas special for somebody and for yourself. Let this be a special Christmas. And what I'm understanding and what I think is that God is actually challenging us to do this every year. And to tell the whole world to do this. Maybe not just every year. Maybe every Sunday. Maybe every month. Maybe every festive period. Maybe every Easter as well. Maybe every holiday. Maybe every break. Maybe every opportunity. Let's use it. Any opportunity we have. Any holiday we have as a chance to give somebody, to remember somebody, and give somebody a gift on behalf of Jesus. Some of these people who are so vulnerable, the only way for them to know that Jesus is alive and that Jesus, if whoever came, is going to be through this, your act of kindness. Let us go ahead. Let us step out of our comfort zones to do an act of kindness to somebody. Now, some people are saying, I don't have people who are poor around me. I don't have anybody here who is vulnerable like that. Look for people in Africa. Look for pastors in Africa. Look for ministers in Africa. Look for believers in Asia. Look for Christians that you could trust. And there are some organizations that do this. Why don't you give them $1, $5, $2 to go and do Christmas gift? An act of kindness on behalf of Jesus to somebody. This is a Christmas challenge that could be the most memorable of anything that you will ever do. Psalm 41 says, blessed is he who considers the poor. The Lord will deliver him in times of trouble. The Lord will preserve him and keep him alive, and he will be blessed on the earth. You will not deliver him to the will of his enemies. The Lord will strengthen him on his bed of illness. You will sustain him on his sick bed. Friends, family, I don't know what's going through your mind and through your emotions as you watch and look through the video of our human beings like us, like you, like myself, are living, what condition they are living in. So I would like us to make this a challenge. Please, let's make this a challenge. What do I mean by a challenge? Throw the challenge to another person. Call out 5 other people to go and do this Christmas challenge. Call out 10 other people to go and do this Christmas challenge. Call out 100,000, as many people as you could reach out, for them to go and reach out and challenge somebody. Show this movie, show this film, show this address to somebody. Let somebody see this video. And let us constantly remember the poor. Not just on the Christmas, but let it be a gift from Jesus. This is Jesus' gift. You know, can you imagine? I've not been eating right now for 14 days. Praying and seeking the face of God. And you know what God came to tell me? He came to tell me about this. Remember the poor. Do a challenge, Christmas challenge. On my behalf, let my people remember the poor, and let my people begin to give gifts to the most vulnerable people, to the down and out, on my behalf. If you want to celebrate Christ's birthday, you want to celebrate my birthday, go and celebrate it with those most vulnerable of all men. But let's spread the word. Let it go viral. Let's go and challenge as many people as we could. Let them see our fellow humans that are made in our own image and our own likeness. Let's see the way they are living. Let's remember them. And let's remember the Lord that died for them. Spread the word. Merry Christmas to you and to all. He who has pity on the poor lends to the Lord, and He will pay back what you have given. Okay. Yeah, we are. So, what do you say? I think it says it all. Maybe I would like to hear from everybody. What are your feelings about that message? And who wants to start? Yep.
Yeah, that was a really good message, and it's just kind of, well, okay. It's really deep, because when we talk about Christmas, a lot of the excitement around Christmas comes from giving. And when people talk about Christmas, often they say, remember the true meaning of Christmas. Don't just think about getting presents for yourself. Think about how Jesus was born, how you can give happiness to others. And, you know, it's known Christmas, it's such a pure idea because everybody's doing their best for at least one day to be selfless, to stop acting as if the world revolves around them, and think about how can they make others feel good for a change. But then on the other hand, it's so ironic that we act about as if the whole world is being generous and being changed and transformed on Christmas. And yet, this problem of us living in our own little worlds and forgetting about the majority of people who are poor, who are suffering, who don't have access to a lot of things, even on Christmas. Christmas is supposed to be about giving and selflessness, and still, I mean, like, when you see these horrors, you think, oh my gosh, how can this be? It's so horrible. But the next day, you just forget about it because you have work or something, you have your family, you have something else. And just, because it's not the first time we've been told to help the poor, to consider the poor, to give anything that we have at least $1. But we just keep thinking about ourselves. So I think it was a very good challenge. I think that is the meaning of Christmas. That we need to stop just saying the phrase, the meaning of Christmas, that love or stuff. What do you mean love? Like, if the point of Christmas is to love, then what specifically do we mean by that? Yes, it's good to be with your family, but it's not like Christmas is the only day you are nice to your family, or the only day that you can give them presents, or like your family is the only person you can give presents to on Christmas. Every day you should be generous. Every day you should be selfless. And if you could, I mean, if the world was full of people that gave gifts every day, then I'm sure the world would be a lot more peaceful. So why don't we just, I mean, it's easier said than done, obviously, but I think we should really be trying to act as if every day is Christmas. And that doesn't mean we just do the same thing every day, try to be happy every day, try to give a few people presents every day. It means we have to be selfless, generous, and try to be helping other people every day. So I think that was a really great message.
But what do you think seeing those kind of kids?
I just, it's just kind of unreal because they're not treated like human beings at all. And what did they do wrong? They didn't do anything wrong. They were just born in a place where their needs weren't paid attention to, and that's it. And almost like, and it's like just hope was cut off from them just because they were born in another place from us, and that's not fair. Anyone could have ended up in that situation, but nobody's rushing to solve it apparently, and it's just like a gigantic and errant injustice. It makes me feel really bad.
Okay.
Well, of course, it makes sense that for Jesus' birthday, he'd want us to give to the less fortunate. And I think he knew that.
Louder, I guess.
I think he knew that Christmas would be the perfect reason, or more of an excuse for us to wanting to give to other people. Like Pearl said, people talk about the true meaning of Christmas, to give to others, peace on earth, goodwill to all. But like Pearl said, we think about our little bubble, people that we know, our friends and family. And even though it's encouraged, most people don't go out of their way, out of their comfort zone, to make strangers happy, to make the less fortunate happy. Maybe it could be like a family tradition to donate to an orphanage or a charity, but most of the time we just think of our friends. And to be honest, it's a celebration, so we just think of having fun. Go Christmas shopping for others, but we also think that we'll get presents too. But like we have to remember about the less fortunate who don't even get to experience joy. And people didn't do anything wrong. People were just born in places without people to take care of them. And one of the diseases that was in the video, they were very treatable. It's very easy to treat. It's like, it could be as easy to treat as a common cold, you know? You just don't have the knowledge or the resources to get help. And in that regard, we don't have to do much. You just have, if it's so easy to treat, then it won't take much effort from us, the ones who are wealthy enough to help, to give them what they need. So we're at fault, of course, for not helping them earlier, not helping them every day. We could actively be doing something to help poverty. And even though there are organizations, it's never a top priority for a person or for a country unless it's dominated by poverty. I think that this is a great step, a great opportunity to start thinking a lot less about ourselves than we usually do, and to try and treat every human as equal as ourselves.
Yeah, I think the video, it really shows an important side of reality, whereas Christmas, people tend to, you could say, forget their problems or forget what's happening, and they just focus on being with the family, enjoying presents. But I think it's important not to detach yourself from reality, to remember that not everyone is in the position to be with your loved ones, as I spoke about earlier. So I think it's also part of our duty to help to ensure that others will be able to be with their loved ones, that they will be able to celebrate Christmas and not have it as any other ordinary day where they're suffering. That I think it's important to just change the mindset of people, change the mindset of society to become more nurturing, to become more caring for others. And because during the holidays, the attention is mostly about how can I satisfy myself, or how can I have the best holiday for myself. But I think that mindset has to change in order to create more of a balance in the world, in order to give everybody the opportunity to fully be able to enjoy Christmas, to fully be able to have joy, and just to give them like a glimmer of hope that life can be better, life will get better. So I think by spreading this challenge, by making it a big thing, I think we'll be able to do that.
I think the video is showing us the reality of life, because when you think of Christmas, you think about the glamours, the glisters, the decorations, the love, the smile. But really, we're living in a world that lies in evil. And Jesus, at an instance, said, the poor you will always have with you. So there are a lot of social problems, a lot of social ills. You have different level of underprivileged. We have abortion, we have sexual slavery, we have economical slavery. We have different problems in different spheres of life. So when you think about Christmas, you might be thinking this might not be the best time to bring things like this up. But really, life is a mixture of the pluses and the minuses. And the pluses, the positive and the negative, they're always working together. and is the thought of both the good things and the bad things that lead us into progress. Another thing I would like to say is to have a heart for such lowly people. It needs a certain level of a change heart, and really we need people like that. We need the sick, we need the unfortunate, because through them our hearts are changed. Through them we become more humans, because when we are surrounded with well-to-do people, it's not a good exercise for our heart. It's not a good exercise for us to become Christ-like. But when you see issues, when you see social issues, it's a matter of the heart. It touches your heart. It forms it to be the kind of heart that Christ would like us to be. So it's a daily practice. You don't necessarily, and you don't always need to go far to Ghana. It starts with what you do every day, how you relate to your family, to people living around you, to your colleagues at work, to your schoolmates, to your roommates, because being able to, you can have it emotional when a video like that is shown, and there are thousands of similar videos. The reaction can be emotional, but maybe 1 inch deep. But to be able to have an effect, it has to be very deep. It has to be, I don't know, maybe 30 inches deep. It has to be a lifestyle. Then it will be something, it will have more effect. So to me, this video is not about rushing to Ghana or rushing elsewhere. It just reminds me about paying attention to people around me. Jesus said you will receive the Holy Spirit and you become witness first in Jerusalem. So if you're talking about charity, and I think there's a saying that says charity starts at home. So to me, I don't need to rush to Ghana. I just need to reflect again about what do I do with the poor, with the needy, in my neighborhood, in my environment. Third, what I would like to say is God is showing us that, because most likely that place is a remote place. God is showing us that because it's about to solve the problem. When God brings something to light, when a lot of things, even on the internet, that you don't get to know about, but when God in his miraculous way bring that to your attention and let a lot of people see it, then to me, I think God is about to help those people. I remember when God told Moses, I have heard the cry of my people, and a lot of people died, a lot of people were destroyed, even before Moses got to Egypt, and even before Moses was able to deliver the Israelites from Egypt. So I want to believe that God has heard some cry, some sacrifices have been made, there has been some death, some blood are crying. Like God said, the blood of Abel is crying for revenge. So I believe some blood are crying for revenge, and that is why this is coming to light, especially for Christians in Ghana. I know, I have friends from Ghana, I have wonderful people from Ghana, and most likely they will be in the best position to contact people at home and to like study the situation and to see what they could do, about it. So it's just bringing the balance of life and bringing us to progress, because we can't shade it off. We can't prevent that everything is okay. And if we are blessed to be able to bless others. So that's how I see it. It's just showing us that today is Christmas, and there's a great probability that a child was born today, and at the same time, a great probability that somebody died today. So to me, that video is just showing the reality of life. You don't have to live in the extreme, or maybe of the goodies, or the extreme of the bad things. You have to find a balance. You have to be real with life, that life can be tough, be low, all the joy below, everybody smile. There are issues on that we need to work on. We have to work on it with an emotionally, spiritually, physical balanced approach. So that's how I see it, and I pray that those who are already not working in that line, maybe those who are not involved in charity, those who are not involved in NGOs, maybe that will give them a push to see what they could do. But I personally believe that it takes a training. You can't get to the top without climbing some steps. So I just think that God wants to remind us and for us to train ourselves in charity, to train ourselves in the great commandments, loving God with all our heart and loving our neighbors. We have to be faithful with our neighbors before we can get to Ghana. I mean, if you're far from Ghana. So if every Christian will start living by the principle of love that Christmas portrays, then we'll be able to do a lot. But we still need to trust God, because the Bible says the poor you will always have. And we won't be able to solve all the problems of the world, but the ones who will be able to help, it will mean a lot to those people.
Yeah. You know, only one of those videos is from Ghana. Another one is actually from South Sudan. And the truth is that the needy are always everywhere with us. You know, not just in Africa, but even where we are. You know, so everywhere there are needs and there are needy people like that. But for example, we come from Nigeria. I'm sure there are even worse situations in Nigeria than in Ghana or than in South Sudan, but they're just everywhere. But it's about our hearts. I think God is just quickening our hearts for us to have the heart of Jesus. What I'm thinking right now is, how will Jesus react? Because Jesus is a manifestation of Christ, of God. So no one has seen God, but Jesus came to reveal him, and Jesus revealed him. So now that Jesus is a revelation of God, is a full picture of who God is. So what did he do when he saw situations like that? We know it was recorded. That's why we have the Bible, to see how God will react in similar situations that we see all through our lives. So that seeing how God reacts, we could also learn to react in a similar way. And that is the way we become godlike. And that's the way we carry the image and likeness of God. So what did Jesus do when he saw people in desperate situations? Because he saw them in his lifetime. For example, when he was going one time, he saw a woman that was bent over, and he asked his disciple, "This lady is a daughter of Abraham. Do you want to say that we have an excuse that because it is Saturday or it is Christmas or it is a festive period? Do you think that's an excuse not to do good?" So Jesus doesn't have an excuse in doing good. Anywhere there is a need for doing good, good has to be done. And so he reached out and healed the woman, even though it was prohibited according to the law of Sabbath for him to have healed that day. But nothing will hinder him from doing good when there is need for it. But even more serious than that, let's see the way Jesus reacted when people were hungry. So when Jesus saw the hungry and the people who were with him for 3 days and there was nothing to eat, no food and no provision. So he provided for them, yes, that's what we all know. But there is something much more deeper than that that I think he's trying to teach us in that place. He set up a system to resolve the problem. Because he said, okay, create 50 lines or...
Put people in groups of each other.
Put people in groups of 50.
Mm-hmm.
So put people in group of 50 and then 100 groups like that each. 100 lines. So that's a structure. And then it was only after a structure was created that it now blessed and the miracle happened. So I'm thinking, when I'm looking at this kind of thing, I'm thinking more, not in using my emotions just to be frustrated and to be angry and to be depressed and to be broken. I'm thinking of using it as a wake-up call to think on structures, systems, on forming a system, creating a system. So I think it's all about all of us thinking of the system and structure we could create that would continuously meet such needs instead of just one each time we see a video like that. So a challenge could be such a structure. For example, tithe and offering could be such a structure. Some of you might be touched to use some of your tithe and offering to actually meet the needs of people like that. Some of you might be touched to go and start NGO. Some of you might be moved to go and partner with some people. Or some of you might be moved to just, set up a system, a structure of reaching out to the needy, maybe not in Africa, but where you are. So I think we should also think about system apart from the urgency of thinking about the need itself and the emotions of the need. I think the structure, the capacity to build a structure and a system that will perpetually address that need and meet that need is even more important. That way, we would not be talking about the same need every day, but the need will be supplying solution to itself. Anyone of you want to talk about it? You want to say?
Hello, everyone. All right, so for me, this is, I remember the first time Pastor showed this video. For me, it was a confirmation of the burden that God had already placed in my heart to reaching out to the hungry, actually, specifically. Yeah, because in my room, I can remember I watched the video, so maybe it's this video. I can't remember exactly the video I watched, and then I started weeping in my room. And for me, I was like, why am I crying? Because just seated watching the video, I started crying. And then what I just heard in my spirit was, there is nobody that deserves to die of hunger, and everyone is deserving of love. And there and then, God began to place in my heart a burden to reach out to the hungry and those who can't even afford to eat. And I had to brood over it and to look at how to make it happen actually in Nigeria. And just like what Pastor said, try not to respond emotionally, but hearing what God wants you to do and sitting down and making the plans. How can I make this work? And how does God want me to go? How can I strategize? And actually got this burden like 2 months ago, and then going into different strategies on how to build a system to make this work. By God's grace, starting from January this coming year, we're going to be starting a project called Feed a Soul Initiative. And the idea is to reach out to the hungry, people who can't eat, and to just give them food to eat and then demonstrate God's love to them. Not by preaching that Jesus Christ died for them, not by telling them how much Jesus loves them, of which some of them already know, but just like what a great man said, that to the hungry, the love of God is manifested as food. So giving them food to eat, and my big goal and my big strategy and my big vision is to have a resource center in all of the local governments in Nigeria, so in such a way that the hungry in each local government would have a place where they can eat and where they can also be equipped to even empower themselves to make food for themselves and to also make a living for themselves. So this for me was like, son, what I told you, I want you to know that it is for real, and I want you to launch into it big time. And it's a confirmation, and I'm looking forward to giving hope to people who are hopeless, giving food to people who are almost dying of hunger. And one plan that God gave to me, one strategy God gave to me is the Feed a Soul challenge, of which definitely when it's time I'm going to make it go viral and I'm going to start that. And this was what God told me actually. He said it is very possible that we don't have any hungry person in Nigeria. For me, I didn't grab it because it's like it's impossible. And this is what he told me. He said it's very simple. That if in a family of 4, they are to prepare a meal for the 4 of them, everyone can prepare an extra meal for one person. So let's say in the family of 4, they are preparing rice for that meal. They can add one person. It doesn't take much to feed 1 million people. It doesn't take much to feed one person. It might be burdensome to feed 500, 1 million, but one person. So imagine a family saying, okay, we want to cook our breakfast this morning, making a space for one extra person that we know that we're going to meet on our way, either to school or to meet on our way to work or to meet, just there is always that person who is in need of food. And so that family, instead of cooking for 4 persons, they cook for 5 people. And then on their way to work, on their way to school, they just hand over that food to that person. And if that becomes the consciousness of everybody in Nigeria, the truth is that there will be nobody hungry on the streets. Yeah. There's absolutely no way. And sad occurrences like people giving the beating or wanting to maltreat children who come to steal gari or come to steal some little foodstuffs in their shops. Because I've seen some pictures like that on some videos of a young boy who's trying to, it's obvious that this guy is trying to make a living. It's obvious that there's no food for him to eat. And so he goes to the closest shop, not to steal your diamond. He doesn't care about your diamond. He doesn't care about your gold. He doesn't care about your money. What he cares about is that gari, is that food, just for him to eat, to survive, and for his family. And then what we see happening in Nigeria, people have lost that empathy. Because for me, I was in my room that and I was thinking about it, that if I have a shop and I see a child coming to steal gari, if I catch that child or I get that child, I'm going to embrace that child. And I'm going to give the child not just gari, because I know this guy is not coming to steal because he wants to be a bad child. But he's trying to survive because nobody has paid attention to him. No one has given him any love. No one cares about him. So he's trying to make ends meet for himself and his family. But if every Nigerian, if this is like what God dropped in my heart, feed a soul. Feed a soul. You don't have to feed 1 million souls, but just one soul. And if everybody in Nigeria has that mindset and begins to think beyond themselves, okay, I'm cooking for my family, I want to add one extra person to just have that food to eat. You have no idea the person you're going to give that food, if that person has not eaten in weeks. And that might just be the food that will save that person from dying or from committing suicide. Because I tell you, it is very, very real. And I'm looking forward to what God is set to do through me and through everyone I'm going to get to challenge and everyone that's going to partner with the organization. And as many that will be inspired also to live beyond themselves and to also look and pay attention to the people who are around, who are crying for help, people who are begging for people to just pay attention to them and just look at us. We are suffering and we want help, and we just want you to show us that help, that love, that mercy. And I believe if this is how we begin to think, things would definitely be better, and there will be a whole revolution that will happen in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole, and things definitely will change. So I'm believing God that this is going to raise that consciousness in the heart of everyone listening, and we'll begin to take that responsibility to show love to the unloved and to remember the forgotten, and like what Pastor said, the most vulnerable of all men, that we show that we extend that hand of mercy and hope to them. And I believe definitely God is going to be proud of us, and he's going to be rejoicing where he is, that we are actually fulfilling his mandate and his desire for our lives here on earth. That's what I have to say.
You want to say something?
Okay. Well, yeah, that's really good.
Oh, you're not ready, because I wanted you when I was talking about systems, you raised up your hand.
Yeah, I mean,
Destruction.
Okay, So yeah, I think that you two are right. That the next step to seeing a video like this and to feeling emotions is to act, and you can't just act anyhow. You need to have a system. And I also think that, when people think about charity, lots of excuses randomly come into our head. Because maybe it's human nature, maybe Satan is trying to stop us, but in a system, it's just a group of parts that are functioning together to achieve a purpose. That means not everybody, for example, has to go outside and find a bunch of wood to build houses, or to build stoves to cook food, or to work out and labor to grow some extra crops to feed the poor. Somebody has to plan all this out. Somebody has to write promoting the whole idea. Somebody has to write out a plan. Somebody has to make videos like this to bring more awareness of this problem to more people. So don't just write this off, because the reason that we see videos of poor people or suffering people, needy people, and then we watch them, there's tears in their eyes, but then later we just forget, is because you think that, oh, what a shame, but I can't do anything. But obviously you can do something, because you're alive and you have enough food to eat. And God has brought this to light. Just like Pastor Mose said, if God has brought something to light, then he wants to solve that problem. And what was the example she gave when she talked about God solving a problem? Moses. So God didn't, when he saw that Israel was suffering, he didn't just come down and be like, oh, my nation is suffering, guess I should come down from my divine throne and, put those bad Egyptians away. No, there was millions of humans down there. Why doesn't he use one of the people made in his own likeness and image? And has God changed today? Hopefully, if you've been to church, you've heard the phrase that God is the same today and tomorrow and forever. So if you think that you've lucked out, you don't need to work anymore, that God isn't going to use you anymore, sorry, you're out of luck. I think God still does need to use us. And, this is just a pretty elementary thing. I mean, not that helping the poor or ending world hunger is elementary. It's just that all these Bible verses about helping the poor, and we just still think it's like, nope, not for me. I'm a Christian, but I'm just not called to help the poor. That's just very ironic if you read the Bible. So, actually, I'm not trying to sass anyone. The point of this thing was that, for example, I myself, I want to help the poor. I want to help change society. Here, I'm really interested in, for example, the politics of Ukraine, and I would like to help the poor in the capital, Kiev. I'd like to help the poor in the place where there's war right now. And I think that I can do many things to do that. For example, my passion, I think I have an innate gift for it, is writing, for example. I think through writing, I could already make a big difference. I don't mean that writing is all that you should do, because even so, that is basically another form of the video. So people could still just have an emotional reaction and go away. But still, that is a part of it. So I'm just telling you, don't let yourself be discouraged from helping the poor. Just think of what you can do. Like Daddy said, it's about us all thinking of what we could do. And everybody does have a part in this. If you have privilege, if you were born here where you are able to help the poor, then you should. Because the probability of you having been born in a less privileged place is a lot more, because the privileged people are 1% of the population. So we should be grateful for that, and if we want to give back Jesus a present for what he's given us, we should be thinking of the little thing we can do, the 2 cents we can give to help the poor.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for bringing this to our awareness again. To think that more than 50% of the world food production every year goes to waste, and then to see videos such as this, to see that a lot of people live in opulence and affluence, and to see children like this, I for one, I think I can feel their pain, maybe not to the extent that they feel it, but I understand what it means to feel like you are screaming at the top of your voice and yet you are mute, to feel like you are shouting but no one can hear you, to feel like you have the whole world enclosed against you. I to a very good extent know what that feels like. And so even when I say things like this, I begin to feel lucky. I begin to feel like I am not even grateful. So I know what a meal can do. I've been in situations where I've been hungry. Yes, I knew probably the next day something was going to happen. But you know, can you imagine, even for me who have hope for the next day, when I feel that way, and for someone who doesn't know where the next one is going to come from. It's true that we cannot help everybody, but many times those who say that end up not helping anybody. And if we want anything to change, then we must begin to see what we can do to help just one soul, just one person. And that food, that portion you are going to waste tomorrow, if you begin to think of images like this, you think of how to maximize it and how you can save or calculate one portion for just one more person. And you see, this goes in different ways and in different forms. But we must continue to do our best. We must continue to up our game to help people around us. It was an American president who said, Richard Nixon, who said, America is great today, not because of what the government did for the people, but what the people did for themselves and one another. So if we want our continent to be better, and you see the gory images that has been used to represent Africa for long, I think it's time to change the narrative. And the only way to do that is by civil responsibility, where every individual feels responsible for his neighbor, where everyone feels responsible for his next person. And too many times, especially in the religion that we have, and this doesn't deal with religion, it's just about humanity, but many times we talk about fellowshipping with brethren, and Jesus has defined who that brethren is, because when he defined that, he defined it in the form of who is your neighbor, or who is neighbor to you, and it's anybody you have the means to help. And I look at, in fact, parents, and I'm saying that from my own situation, from my own perspective, having been orphaned, or I say I don't consider myself orphaned, I consider myself parentless, but being in that situation, I've seen the perspective of just not having anybody there, their need, and I just felt like if just one person can help you. But here was the deal: one or two people helped me, and today I've been able to set up a project to also help people. So I was beginning to think, what if those guys were just focused on their children? And the only reason why we help ourselves, why we want to survive, why we want to help our children, is because we want to live a better world. But it's as though we begin to forget that these other people we neglect are going to be a part of the world we'll be leaving behind too, and they will be with our children there. So if we indeed want to live a better world, I think it's high time we started to look not just on our children or those who we consider as ours, but those who can never give back a word of appreciation. And trust me, one grain of rice is just a lot. Mahatma Gandhi said, he said, God will never appear to the hungry. Many times God will only appear to the hungry in form of bread. So what can you do to represent God? And don't forget, when Jesus was talking about giving to him, he talked about food, water, and shelter. Clothing. So the basic need of humanity must be met, and we can do it. We are just more than enough to do it. Stop wastage and start looking at the next person. There are just too many. We cannot say that there are no needy people around us. And a lot of people give this excuse that the needy people you always have around you. And they use the story of the woman who poured alabaster box on Jesus. And so that means you must give expensive things to those who are already rich, because you always have to need. But that was not the concept of the story. Indeed and in fact, the only reason why the apostles said that this should have been sold and given to the poor was because that was the mindset that Jesus had instilled in them. But what they did not know was that that situation was part of the preparation for the funeral of Jesus.
So Jesus took time in that chapter to explain to them that don't worry, the poor you will always have around you because it is very necessary to help the poor. The principle is intact, the principle is valid, and he said, but this woman is doing this because she is anointing my body for my burial. And everywhere the gospel is mentioned, that name will be mentioned. So let's not forget that the poor you always have around you is not a case for neglect, but it's a case for value system. For what must be on your mind, that there will always be people you have to help, and you must never have the excuse that there are no people or you can't find them, because that's a lie. Just all you just need to do is just to look to the left or to the right. God bless you as you do so, and I also do my own best.
Yeah.
So, watching that video actually made me question myself and if I really have a good understanding of Christ and his message to the world. Because thinking about the last few months and the last few weeks, going through the teachings that Dr. Sunday has been sharing with us, this is the same result that I came to, that I was questioning if I actually understand what the message of Christ is. And this brings me to the conclusion that looking at what he did was just to ask the question, what would Jesus do? What would you do, Jesus? And he got the answer. And it's not something that is exclusive to him because, you know, he's somehow more special than everybody else, but he made the effort to go and actually ask. He went to seek God's face, to really understand what is it that we should know? What is it that we should do as people who call ourselves Christians and who call ourselves people who follow you? So I was wondering if this is something that I'm doing, and I realized that I'm not, because I think God is not going to tell just one person something that they're not asking for, something that they're not looking for, that they're not ready for. And so for me personally, I have to ask myself, am I ready, and am I also willing to deal with the response? And what does that mean for me? So if I'm asking, what would Jesus do? And he gives me the answer, what will I do? Am I going to act based on what he tells me? So this really makes me to question. I think I'm not, you know, many of us may be in that situation where we're asking ourselves, what should we do? But then again, learning from your environment is such a treasure, and I personally am very grateful for the environment that I am in. And it just teaches me that what I'm supposed to do if I don't know the answers, to go and ask. And even if I don't know what to do, I think, you know, God is always willing to guide us and to help us see what are the things that we can do, and also use the resources that we have, because we all have minds, we all have hands, we all have something that we could use. Maybe we don't know how we should use these things, but you know, that's why we have the possibility to ask. And I think this is one really great lesson that I'm understanding right now, just looking at that video over and over again, to do for myself and for the people around me. Because so many people, just like Pastor said in the video even, you know, who will come up with excuses and who will say, I don't have poor people around me, or even in church, things that we would hear is that you have to earn money so that you can go and ask, so that you can go and help other people. But what do you do in the meantime? Because if people around you are dying and you're focusing on, you know, earning some sort of money, and by the way you have all that money, everyone around you is dead, it's not going to help you anyway. So it's about understanding what Christ will do in our position, and not just on Christmas, but every day, and with the things that we have. So this is for me a decision that I have taken, that I really should ask myself, what is it that Jesus would do? And then going and asking him, because he's there and he's willing to give you the answer. An answer that is going to be tailored to you, because we all know that, especially as Christians, Christ is with us, and he knows what we have, he knows what we can do. And if we trust him, we will also trust him that he will not burden us with something that we will not be able to handle. And people around us as well are resources that we have. We're not alone in this world, so there's so many things that are available for us to act, whatever action there is. And I also understand that it may be a bit overwhelming to, look at that video and then your emotions may be overwhelming you and you're thinking, oh my God, I can't do anything and this is happening there and I'm here. But, like so many people before me said, this is also symbolic for you to look around you and to ask yourself, even that slice of bread that I have right now, maybe this is something I can bless another person with. And maybe out of that, something else can happen and can, spark your creativity and help you to build a system around that slice of bread. Who knows? So I think, acting and asking that question, asking that very question, going to solitude and trying to really seek God's face. And the fact that Dr. Sunday got an answer shows me that God is willing to speak to us. It's not just that we all should just go somewhere and lock ourselves up and wait for something to happen, but God is waiting for us to ask him. And I personally want to do that. And I also encourage you, if you are someone who's asking yourself that question, we could take that decision and ask God. Take the decision to ask God, not just for Christmas, but in general in your life, and based on who you are and what you have, what is it that you could do? Because what is it that Jesus would do in your place?
Okay, I think it's about time, because in the next 30 minutes we are going to be starting the next series that we are doing this week. In the next 30 minutes actually, that is 9 o'clock Ukraine time, 7 o'clock British time, and 8 o'clock Nigerian time. So thank you so much. Maybe the kids and Pastor Bossa or anybody would like to say anything before we go?
Yes, I want to say something. Okay. So anyway, I think this has been a really enlightening discussion that we've had, and that this part of life, helping the poor, thinking about how to help the poor, it's a really important part of Christianity, contrary to what the popular opinion has become. Right now, the most important part of Christianity, as in what we do most often, seems to be just to go to church, say Bible verses, and pray, talk about praying, acting holy and stuff, but basically living your own life, except that, Jesus is also there. But now that everybody has spoken, I have a realization that actually Christianity is more about developing yourself, yes, but also giving yourself away. So that's kind of vague, but for example, in what Daddy was referencing and about the feeding of the 5,000, I remember this when Julie said that you could build a whole system to feed the hungry around the loaf of bread. And I remembered that whole miracle of feeding 5,000 people, it came from one boy, a small child, a person that isn't known as doing anything, who had 2 pieces of fish, 5 loaves of bread, and that fed 5,000 people. And so I kind of was thinking, well, then we don't really have much of an excuse to say, oh, I don't have enough to help anybody else. 2 pieces of fish and 5 loaves of bread was enough to feed 5,000, to make a big major miracle that's recorded 4 times in the Bible. But people could say, well, that required a miracle. And then I was thinking that everything connects, because if you listen to Daddy's other teachings, for example, something that's in, I think, Mom's book in Russian, but yeah, something that was repeated is that, yeah, miracles happen, but they happen when you've done your best. They don't just happen when you've done your very best. That's when God intervenes. That's when God, justly intervenes and he causes a miracle. That means that where we're at, we need to start trying to change the world and helping the poor like Jesus did. And it's just a lot clearer now. So, thank you.
Anybody wants to say anything? Okay, guys. Thank you so very much, everyone. And it was nice being with you. Tonight, I'm starting another series that is going to be explosive. Is your pastor a psychopath? How to know signs that what are the signs to know if your pastor is a psychopath or not. So it's a whole series, and it's not very pleasant. It's sad that we have to talk about it, but we just have to. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.